Soniibeatz, and today I'm going to be breaking down a song called Soul. This song's supposed to release this week, or it might already be out now. I made this using a sample. I got spliced, and I've been getting into using samples a little bit more. Most of the time, I just kind of make stuff myself, but the samples can help you make something that you probably wouldn't make yourself. Alright, so to start off, I'll play the original sample. So I think that might be the original key it was, and I'm not sure. I might have froze it again. But the first thing that I did, there's this feature in Ableton where you can drag it over to figure out what the keys are that they're playing. And it usually comes out kind of bad, but you can mess around with it and figure out how it's actually supposed to sound. I think this is the original one right here. Alright, I think that's the one after I did some editing. I'll just do it again right now so we can see what it actually sounds like when it converts to MIDI. So I'll click on this, go to convert harmony to new MIDI track. Okay, so this is what it originally sounded like before all the editing. So it actually does pretty good. I don't remember it being this good originally, but maybe Ableton updated something. That sounded really good. All right, so I took that, put it on, I think it was a preset from Pigments, and I put it on that and played it again. Same melody. That's all I did with the original sample. Later on in the beat, I had some effect tricks just right here and in these sections over here. In effect tricks I have, it goes through reverse, phaser, chorus, delay, reverb, filter, another phaser, stutter. And I'll play those parts so you can hear how it sounds. Alright, so after that, I added a melody using keys from Addictive Keys. I also added RC20 on this. I added vinyl, some wow, distortion, air distortion, digital noise, reverb, and some wear. Then I cut out some frequency, changed the tone. I just used a sad piano preset, and I might have tweaked something a little bit, probably the tone. Okay, so after that, I came up with this melody on Addictive Keys. Alright, so that's just a random piano solo. In the beginning, I added this noise from Lab, just pan from left to right using auto pan. It's a very ambient sound with birds chirping. Next, I think this is the first bass I was using, but it didn't fit the track, so I muted it. Yeah, so I didn't like the way it sounded, so I just used another bass. This is the bass I ended up going with. I'm not sure if it's the same, because they have the same name. I'm not sure if it's the same sound, just processed different, but it sounds much beefier here, in my opinion. I must add a saturator or something, or just mess with it till it sounded good. Next, I added some violin. Yeah, so I use BBC Symphony. Usually when I'm coming up with violin, I play one with the song, and then I play another one with the song muted and only the other violin track on, because for the most part, they're the same melody, sort of, just shifted a little bit. And it's usually, if it's in the same key, it's probably going to sound good with the song anyway. And then you can turn the whole beat back on, hear it with the chords, and see what you need to change. But I like to have one pan to the left, one pan to the right, and then I usually delay one of them, so it's not like exactly playing at the same time. Next, I added the sound from Pigments. It's like a bell sound. And there's just reverb on that and a little EQ. And then I think that's it for all the melodies. This one was pretty simple. For the intro, I created a riser using a bunch of presets from Labs and one from Pigment. I just kind of changed the volume on all of them. This is what they all sound like together. So I added EQ, RC20, sketch cassette. I added presets on each of these, but I froze it, so I'm not really sure what I added, but I know I added a lot of auto pan to most of these and reverb. After that, I added a bunch of vocal chops throughout the beat. Right here, I added some vintage vocal sounding vocal clip.
Oh, today was an unusual day.
Over here, I added another one.
The music of this dance is the well-known two-step.
It's all very old sounding, like it's coming through a telephone, because the old mics were kind of ass. I'm just gonna play through all of them. Yeah. That one's from Monty Booker Kick. It's like a James Brown sounding one. Just a little scratch sound.
Go on.
And then two more little vocal sounds that I added. Didn't really make any sense, I just liked the way it sounded. Alright, so I'll play everything without the drums. I also added some ambience from Brooklyn, or mostly just New York in general. Yeah, so it's just random New York sounds going on, and they're being panned from left to right slowly. For the outro of this beat, I think I just came up with a chord that was within the key, played it and stretched it out, and that's how I got this right here.
Go on.
Alright, so now I'll play everything except for the drums and the bass.
Today was an unusual day.
The music of this dance is a well-known two-step.
All right, so now for the drums. The first thing I did for the drums was find a perk loop. This was the one I went with. I didn't do anything to it. I liked the way it sounded, so I just left it alone. Next, I went and found a snare. This snare is kind of a thin snare. I think it's from the Oasis pack. I definitely recommend getting Oasis drum kits. They have some of my favorite snares. For that one, I just EQ'd some of the high end and put RC20 on it, the Snareify. And then for the drums, I used a drum loop. I think I got it off of Splice. Yeah, so I just EQ'd it, boosted the low end a little bit, cut out this frequency. I guess I didn't like it. This is what it sounds like without the added snare. This is with the snare. I like to add snares with that are kind of low. Sometimes I put reverb on them, sometimes I don't. This time I didn't, just made it lower and panned it. I did one to the left, one to the right. Yeah, I only did it once throughout the song, so this is what that sounds like. Alright, next I added this from, I think this is from a drum loop. It was another drum loop I was going to use, but I only like parts of it, so I cut it out. And this is what that sounds like. This is what everything sounds like together. So for the master chain, I have RC20 from here to the drop. It has the VHS setting on it in the beginning, halfway on, and then it shuts off at the drop, and the other RC20 comes on. So when that one turns off, this one turns on. And on this RC20, I just have a little vinyl, a little wow, a little distortion, some digital, and some wear. And then I changed the tone a little bit and took off a little bit of the high end. I also turned everything up a little bit here, added Soothe 2. I think now I put this at the end of my master rack. RC20, glue compressor, Ozone 9, and then I just have some widening going on here. EQ doing nothing. Threshold 2 to make it a little louder. And then I just use this. It's a free plugin, Uline Loudness Meter, and it just lets you know how many, I forgot what LUF stands for, like loudness unit. Yeah, I forgot what it stands for, but you usually want it at -14 LUFs at least. I think that's standard. So I usually just look at this and try to see if the loudest part of it reaches 14, -14 at least. You can go higher if you want, but -14 is what they recommend. When I say they, that's just random people on the internet. So now I'm gonna play the full beat. If you like it, add it to your playlist if it's out. If it's not out, add me on Spotify so you know when it releases. And if you see any links that I drop for pre-saving it, please pre-save it. Also check out my other music on Spotify. Comment, like, and subscribe. Check out some of my older beat breakdown videos or some of my older music. And thanks for watching.